The Sindh Factories Act, 2015, regulating labor in factories. Introduction. Welcome, everyone, to today's lecture on the Sindh Factories Act, 2015. This act is a critical piece of legislation in the province of Sindh, Pakistan, aimed at regulating labor in factories. We will delve into its various sections, definitions, and provisions, all of which play a vital role in ensuring safe and fair working conditions for factory workers. Background. Before we dive into the specifics of this act, let's understand the context. The Sindh Factories Act, 2015, was passed by the Provincial Assembly of Sindh on March 21, 2016, and assented to by the Governor of Sindh on April 25, 2016. It consolidates and amends the law regulating labor in factories. Section 1, Short Title, Extent, and Commencement. This section deals with the basic information about the Act. 1.1 Short Title. The Act is titled the Sindh Factories Act, 2015. 1.2 Extent. It applies to the entire province of Sindh. 1.3 Commencement. The Act came into force on a date notified by the government in the Official Gazette. Section 2, Definitions. Here, we define various terms used throughout the Act. Let's explore some key definitions. 2.1 Adolescent. An adolescent is a person aged between 14 and 18 years. 2.2 Adult. An adult is a person who has reached the age of 18. 2.3 Child. A child is a person below the age of 14. 2.4 Factory. A factory includes premises where 10 or more workers have worked in the past year, and manufacturing processes occur, with or without power. Example. Think of a textile factory where machinery is used to weave fabric. If 10 or more workers are employed there, it falls under the definition of a factory. 2.5 Government. Government refers to the government of Sindh. 2.6 Machinery. Machinery encompasses all equipment used to generate, transform, transmit, or apply power. 2.7 Manufacturing Process. A manufacturing process includes any action to make, alter, repair, or finish an article, generate power, or pump substances. Example. A steel mill shaping raw metal into beams for construction represents a manufacturing process. The term manufacturing process is a crucial concept in various industries and labor laws. It encompasses a wide range of activities involved in the creation, alteration, repair, or finishing of products, as well as tasks related to power generation and substance pumping. Let's elaborate on the definition of a manufacturing process with multiple examples to illustrate its various applications. Definition of manufacturing process. According to the Sindh Factories Act, 2015, and broader industrial and legal contexts, a manufacturing process includes any action or set of activities undertaken to make, creating a new product from raw materials or components. Alter, modifying or changing the properties, shape, or composition of an existing product or material. Repair, restoring a product or material to its functional state or making necessary adjustments to ensure proper functioning. Finish, adding final touches or enhancements to a product to make it ready for use, sale, or delivery. Generate power, the process of producing electricity or mechanical energy. Pump substances, moving liquids or gases from one location to another, often for purposes such as distribution, processing, or disposal. Now, let's explore a couple of examples to illustrate the diverse applications of the manufacturing process. Example 1, Steel mill shaping raw metal for construction. Imagine a large steel mill that receives raw metal, typically in the form of iron ore or steel billets. In this scenario, making, the primary manufacturing process here involves taking the raw metal and shaping it into various forms such as beams, rods, or sheets. These are essential components in the construction industry. Altering, the mill may alter the metal's properties by heating, rolling, or forging it to achieve the desired strength, shape, and dimensions. Finishing, Once the metal is shaped and altered, it may undergo finishing processes such as coating, painting, or quality inspections to ensure it meets industry standards. This steel mill represents a classic example of a manufacturing process that involves making, altering, and finishing raw materials to produce construction materials. Example 2. Food processing plant. Consider a food processing plant that takes in raw agricultural products such as fruits and vegetables. In this case, the manufacturing process begins with the transformation of raw produce into various food products. For instance, fruits may be converted into juices, canned goods, or frozen products. Altering. The plant may alter the composition of these products by adding preservatives, sweeteners, or flavorings to enhance taste, quality, and shelf life. Finishing. After processing, the food products may undergo finishing steps, such as packaging, labeling, and quality control checks, to prepare them for distribution and sale. This food processing plant exemplifies a manufacturing process focused on making, altering, and finishing agricultural products into consumer-ready food items. Conclusion. The term manufacturing process encompasses a broad spectrum of activities involved in transforming raw materials into finished products or altering and maintaining materials for various purposes. These processes are fundamental to numerous industries, including manufacturing, construction, food production, and energy generation. Understanding the concept of a manufacturing process is essential for compliance with labor laws, safety regulations, and quality standards in these industries. 2.8 Occupier of a factory. The occupier of a factory is the person with ultimate control over the factory's affairs. If a managing agent is involved, they are deemed the occupier. The term occupier of a factory is a significant concept in labor and industrial laws, particularly in the context of factory management and responsibility. It identifies the person or entity that holds ultimate control over the factory's operations and affairs. Additionally, it addresses situations where a managing agent is appointed to oversee the factory's operations. Let's delve into the details of the occupier of a factory with multiple examples. Definition of occupier of a factory. According to the Sindh Factories Act, 2015, and similar labor and industrial laws in various regions, the occupier of a factory is defined as: the occupier of a factory is the individual or entity that holds ultimate control over the factory's affairs. This person or entity is primarily responsible for making decisions regarding the factory's operation, management, and compliance with legal and safety requirements. If a managing agent is involved, they are considered the occupier of the factory in cases where the affairs of the factory have been entrusted to them. Now, let's explore this definition with a few examples to illustrate how it applies in different scenarios. Example 1. Family-owned manufacturing company. Consider a family-owned manufacturing company that produces textiles. In this scenario, ultimate control, the owner of the company, often a family member, holds ultimate control over the factory's operations. They make key decisions related to production, staffing, finances, and overall management. Therefore, the owner is deemed the occupier of the factory. Managing agent. In some cases, the owner may appoint a managing agent, such as a general manager or production manager, to oversee day-to-day operations. However, since the managing agent operates under the authority and direction of the owner remains the occupier of the factory. Example 2. Multinational corporations factory. Imagine a multinational corporation with factories in different regions of the world. In this context, ultimate control, the multinational corporation's headquarters, often located in a different country, exercises ultimate control over its factories. The decisions regarding production processes, product quality, safety standards, and compliance with local labor laws are made at the corporate level. Therefore, the multinational corporation is the occupier of the factory. Managing agent. In some cases, the corporation may appoint local managers or factory directors to manage day-to-day operations efficiently. However, these local managers act as agents of the corporation, implementing corporate policies and directives. The corporate entity, as the principal, remains the occupier of the factory. Example 3. Factory managed by an independent agent. Consider a scenario where a factory owner decides to entrust the management of the factory to an independent managing agent or consulting firm. Ultimate control. In this case, the managing agent assumes significant control over the factory's operations, including decision-making related to production, staffing, safety, and compliance. The factory owner has delegated authority to the managing agent, making the managing agent the occupier of the factory. Managing agent's role. The managing agent may be responsible for streamlining processes, optimizing efficiency, and ensuring compliance with legal and safety requirements. They act independently within the bounds of their agreement with the factory owner. Conclusion. The occupier of a factory is the individual or entity with ultimate control over a factory's operations and management. This definition is crucial in determining responsibilities, liabilities, and compliance with labor and safety regulations. Whether the occupier is the factory owner, a multinational corporation, or an independent managing agent, their role involves making critical decisions that impact the factory's functioning and its workforce. Understanding this concept is essential for both factory owners and employees to clarify lines of authority and ensure adherence to legal and safety standards. 2.9 Power. Power refers to electric energy and other mechanically transmitted energy, excluding human or animal-generated energy. 2.10 Prescribed. Prescribed means specified by rules created by the provincial government under this act. 2.11 Week. A week comprises 7 days, starting at midnight on Saturday night. 2.12 Shift. Shift refers to a period during which a specific set of workers carries out similar tasks during different hours of the day. 2.13 Worker. A worker includes anyone employed in manufacturing processes, machinery maintenance, or any related work, excluding the occupier and manager with hiring/firing authority. Workers cannot be hired through agencies or contractors for production-related work. Example: factory workers assembling electronics components are considered workers under this act. The definition of a worker in Pakistan's labor laws, as well as clarified by previous court decisions, is a crucial concept that distinguishes individuals engaged in manual or clerical work within an industrial context. This definition has significant implications for the rights and protections afforded to workers. Let's comprehensively elaborate on the definition of a worker, taking into account Pakistan's labor laws and court decisions. Definition of a worker. According to Pakistan's labor laws and precedents set by the courts, a worker is defined as follows. A worker is a person employed in any manufacturing process, or in cleaning any part of the machinery or premises used for a manufacturing process, or in any other kind of work whatsoever, incidental to or connected with the subject of the manufacturing process. This category includes clerical staff but does not include the occupier and manager who possess hiring and firing authority. Furthermore, no worker shall be employed through an agency, contractor, subcontractor, middleman, or agent to perform production-related work. Now, let's delve deeper into this definition, breaking down each component and examining how it has been clarified by court decisions. Employed in manufacturing processes. A worker is someone engaged in tasks directly related to the production, creation, alteration, or finishing of goods or products within an industrial or manufacturing setting. Cleaning machinery or premises. Workers responsible for cleaning machinery or the premises where manufacturing processes occur also fall within the definition of a worker. This includes maintaining cleanliness and safety in the manufacturing environment. Incidental or connected work. This component is crucial. Workers engaged in any work that is incidental to or connected with the subject of the manufacturing process are considered workers. It's important to note that this definition is broad and includes various tasks that support the manufacturing process, even if they are not directly involved in production. Includes clerical staff. The definition explicitly includes clerical staff within the category of workers. This means that individuals involved in administrative and clerical tasks within a factory are also considered workers. Excludes occupier and manager with hiring and firing authority. This is a significant exclusion. The definition clearly states that individuals with the authority to hire and fire workers, such as the occupier and certain managers, are not categorized as workers. This distinction is made to separate management roles from those of workers. Restrictions on employment through intermediaries. The definition also emphasizes that workers cannot be employed through agencies, contractors, subcontractors, middlemen, or agents specifically for production-related work. This provision aims to ensure that workers have a direct employment relationship with the industrial establishment where they are engaged in manufacturing processes. Court decisions and clarifications. Court decisions have further clarified this definition. The key principle established is that a workman is someone employed in an industry to perform skilled or unskilled work that is predominantly manual or clerical in nature. Manual work involves physical exertion, while clerical work is characterized by mental or intellectual tasks. However, both manual and clerical work, as defined here, imply that the work is routine and does not require a significant amount of initiative, imagination, direction, or supervision. Example: consider a manufacturing plant that produces automobiles. In this context, workers involved in assembling the vehicles on the production line are considered workers under this definition. Additionally, clerical staff responsible for maintaining records and administrative tasks within the factory also fall under this category. Conclusion: the definition of a worker in Pakistan's labor laws, as elucidated by court decisions, is designed to encompass a broad range of individuals engaged in manual or clerical work within an industrial setting. Understanding this definition is essential for both employers and workers to ensure compliance with labor laws and the protection of workers' rights in the country. Section 3, Reference to time of day. This section standardizes time references. 3.1 Standard Time. Time references are based on Standard Time, which is 5 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. Example: if a factory is operating at 10 a.m., it refers to the Standard Time, which is 3 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. 3.2 Local Time. For areas where Standard Time is not observed, the government can specify local mean time to be used in factories. Section 4, Seasonal Factories. This section defines seasonal factories and outlines exceptions. 4.1 Seasonal Factories. Seasonal factories are those primarily engaged in specific manufacturing processes, such as cotton ginning or fruit processing. These factories operate for less than 180 days a year. Example: a fruit processing facility that only operates during the harvest season is considered a seasonal factory. 4.2 Exceptions. Government can declare a factory with more than 180 working days not to be seasonal, or vice versa, based on notifications. Section 5, Application of provisions to other places. This section extends the Act's provisions to places where manufacturing processes occur with 5 or more workers. 5.1 Application to other places. The government can apply this Act's provisions to places beyond factories where manufacturing processes take place with 5 or more workers. Example: if a workshop employs 5 or more workers in a manufacturing process, this Act's provisions may apply to that place. 5.2 Declaration. Such an application can be specific to certain places, classes of places, or all such places. 5.3 Deemed factory. These places, when subjected to this Act's provisions, are deemed to be factories. Section 6, Separate departments as separate factories. This section grants the government the power to consider different departments or branches within a factory as separate factories. 6.1 Separate departments as separate factories. Government can treat different departments or branches within a specified factory as separate factories for certain purposes. Section 7. Exemption in the case of a change in factory occupier. This section allows for temporary exemption from the Act's provisions when there is a change in factory occupier. 7.1 Exemption due to change in occupier. If a factory undergoes a change in occupier and employs fewer than 20 workers, it can be exempted from the Act's provisions during a public emergency. Example: if a factory changes ownership during a crisis and temporarily employs fewer than 20 workers, it may be exempt from certain provisions of this Act. Section 8. Exemption for factories with fewer than 20 workers. This section lists provisions that do not apply to factories with fewer than 20 workers, with a provision for government notification. 8.1 Exemption for small factories. Certain provisions, including those related to accidents, do not initially apply to factories with fewer than 20 workers. Example: a small-scale, family-owned factory with only 15 employees may initially be exempt from certain safety regulations. 8.2 Government notification. Government can choose to apply these provisions to small factories by notifying them officially. Section 9. Exemption during public emergency. This section grants the government the power to exempt any factory from all or some provisions of the Act during a public emergency. 9.1 Exemption during public emergency. In times of public emergency, the government can exempt a factory from some or all of the Act's provisions through an official notification. Example: during a natural disaster, such as a flood, the government may temporarily exempt factories in the affected region from specific regulations to ensure swift recovery efforts. Section 10. Registration and deregistration of factories. This section outlines the process of registering and deregistering factories. 10.1 Factory registration. No factory can commence operations without obtaining a factory registration certificate from the Directorate of Labor. Example: before a new factory producing textiles can start its operations, it must obtain a registration certificate from the Directorate of Labor. 10.2 de registración. The Directorate of Labor may deregister a factory if it no longer meets the criteria defined in the Act. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Sindh Factories Act, 2015, plays a crucial role in regulating labor in factories within the Sindh province. We've explored various sections and definitions within the Act, shedding light on its significance in ensuring safe and fair working conditions for factory workers. Understanding these provisions is essential for compliance and, more importantly, for the well-being of the workforce in the region. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope this lecture has provided you with valuable insights into this important legislation.